the tu quo que argument, meaning you too. Form of the kettle calling the pot black, or everyone does it, which means if you don't pay your road tax for your car, someone might say that's against the law. And you say, but that's what you do, you don't pay road tax for your car, and also you fiddle your mileometer. Well, you're using tu quoque in the sense that doesn't mean it's lawful. Just because someone else does it, or also that they do something else, doesn't make your actions justified. You can say the same about exercising. Someone says, well, if you do a certain amount of exercise and walking each week, that's going to be pretty good for you. And you say, but you don't do any walking. You don't do any exercise. Well, you're using a tu quoque, which means it doesn't invalidate the idea that it would be good for you to exercise. And just because someone else isn't doing exercise doesn't invalidate the idea that it's good for your health. A straw man argument or fallacy is when someone distorts their opponent's argument by either oversimplifying it, exaggerating it, or introducing something else to try to make that the argument. So you might say, I don't wish there to be a centralised digital currency. And someone might say, that's because you're probably a Trump supporter. And look at his record. And you think, well, that wasn't the argument. So that's a straw man argument. It's something which then separates or tries to justify your argument being wrong by introducing something else. The council can't afford to run a bus from this small village to here, once a day because it can't be justified. And the person might say, this means you're willing to leave old people stuck in their house or standing on the street. It's a straw man argument. An argument ad hominem is one that often I'm on the receiving end of, is rather than listening to what you're saying and your research or evidence, you just get personally attacked. I often get people just telling me to piss off, sod off. And that's not an actual argument, that's just an insult. And attacking the person isn't really a valid argument in a serious discussion. What you should be doing is challenging whatever they're saying, rather than the fact that they might have had an affair with someone or their car broke down last week and they didn't know how to fix it. That's not really the argument. The argument is, should we spend more money on this or whatever? That's the argument. So these other factors about the person's ability or character are not valid. Ad hominem. The broken clock argument or fluke argument. People have used this to me when they're trying to sell advertising. They say, well, we know somebody whose advert worked and they made a lot of money, got a lot of new customers. And I'm thinking, yeah, but you probably know 99 people who didn't get a lot a business from advertising in your magazine. So the one that you're mentioning is not typical, it's a fluke. We can also consider that a broken clock is deadly accurate twice a day. But it's still a broken clock, so we can't use it to justify keeping time at any other point. And it's just a fluke or coincidence if it happens to be right at one point where it stopped. But a minute later it's going to be wrong again. So a fluke type of thing to justify a general idea is a form of inductive reasoning which can be flawed. Inductive reasoning is generalizing from a particular. There's a guy next door to me who's very reckless, and he drives a motorbike, and he's always revving it up, and he's a complete reprobate. Therefore, all people who have motorbikes are clearly nut jobs. There's a clearly persuader, and they should be banned. Inductive reasoning can be disproven by an example. If every time you see a swan, it's white, the next time you see one, it'll be white again. So using inductive reasoning, you assume that all swans are white. Until you go on holiday to Australia and encounter a black swan. Bang goes your inductive reasoning.